What's up, shipbuilders? Today we're going to build the holy grail of ships. She may not look like much, but she's got it where it counts. I've made a lot of special modifications myself. So, if you're ready to go, we'll be on our way. I wanted the version of the ship to have plenty of cargo, but more importantly, plenty of shielded cargo. The strongest shield in the game, the most powerful reactor, the best weapons, and maximum mobility. So I'm going to walk through this build in layers, starting with the bottom and then working our way up. It truly is a bunch of random pieces slapped together, which I think helps fit the overall aesthetic, but honestly it results in pockets of empty space inside the ship and makes snapping the entire thing together a bit of a puzzle. I'm not going to belabor each piece as we go along, but I will highlight it and then snap the layers into place, so just pause or rewind the video at any point as you need to make sure you see what pieces fit where. We'll highlight a couple notes about specific pieces. The majority of them, as you probably know, can be found at your outpost landing pad, but there are a number of specialty pieces that you'll need to visit specific vendors to acquire. To do that, I typically travel around to each specific vendor first, purchase their unique components that I need and attach them to just anywhere I can fit on the ship so that the shipbuilder won't give me an error. I'll usually start with the landing gear first, just because that's usually the most important to fit the mass of the ship. And I'll go around to each specific vendor until I've acquired all the unique parts that I need, and then go back to my outpost and finish the build and organize the pieces where they go at the outpost landing pad. So it means for a little while your ship looks a bit kind of Frankenstein, until you get all the pieces you need and sort it out from there. So for specific pieces, you'll need specific landing gear. You'll need to go to the ship technician on Titan, it's the moon of Saturn, to get that specific landing gear. It's the strongest in the game. For the engines, I opted for the SAL 6830s, which don't unlock until a bit later in the game. If you're not sure how to unlock them, you can Google it. But these engines have the most maneuvering thrust, and so they allow for a lot more cargo while still maintaining maximum mobility. You'll also notice that I jammed an extra engine in there. I only have 5 of the SAL 6830s, and you're allowed up to 6. But I stayed with 5 just for the overall look of the ship. But to get a little bit more power, I jammed an SA 4330, which is also a Stroud engine, but it's really small and just fits into a little 1x1, snaps into a 1x1 space really nice. And so I fit that into the innards of the ship just to get a bit more power and to hide that engine. You'll also notice the cockpit. You don't have to use this exact version of the cockpit. There are lesser versions with a little less cargo stats, but this specific version is kind of the maximum or the best version of this cockpit. It's the command bridge, and you can get that at Tayo Astroneering in the Ryujin building on Neon. And the last unique piece that you'll see is the Hope Tech Hab cross braces. So these are kind of some unique hab pieces that give the internals of the ship a more Falcon type feel by adding those narrow tunnel-like passageways. And they also allow for just a nice, more coherent kind of circular pathway through the inside of the ship, which is really nice. And less doors opening and closing as you go through, which is also a plus. For the weapons, I went with particle beams, just because I don't want to mess around. But I also put Obliterator particle beam, one on the top, you'll see it there, and then another one underneath. Those are the turret versions. Again, just to fit the look of the Falcon with those turrets that it has, one on the top and one on the bottom. And then it just makes quick work of any enemy ship. The last thing that I'll mention is the overall color scheme is mostly kind of a gray with a little bit of, yellowish orange light saturation mixed in, just to give it that worn piece of junk type of feel, and a few spots of red dropped in on kind of a secondary or tertiary colorways. You can do whatever you want, obviously. The habs as well, mix and match, do what fits your play style, goes without saying. And there she is. She'll do the Serpentis run in less than 2 grav jumps. And just to quickly show it one more time, there's that little SA-4330 engine crammed in there, just hiding, tucked away nicely. That's all. Enjoy it. It's one of my favorite ships to fly. Until next time.